Hello students, welcome to the video class for the subjects generation, transmission, distribution. This is for 4th semester diploma electrical engineering students. So today our topic is the sag in overhead lines. So what is sag, how it happens, how to calculate sag, what are the conditions of sag. These are all we will study in today's session. So let's continue. So So, what is this sag? So, while erecting an overhead line, it is very important that the conductor are under safe tension. So, tension means, see, this is a pole, this is a pole. In between these two poles, there is a conductor. Okay, this is a conductor connecting in between two poles. So, there is a tension over here and over here. Okay, so it is very important that conductor are under safe tension. If the conductor are too much stretched between supports in a bid to save conductor material, the stress in the conductor may reach unsafe value, and in certain cases the conductor may break due to excessive tension. Okay, if we stretch the conductor too much, then what happens? Due to some unsafe tension, it may break, okay, due to excessive tension. So in order to permit safe tension in the conductor, they are not fully stretched or are allowed to have a deep or sag. Okay, so in order instead of stretching this conductor fully to save the conductor material, conductor size, we need to allow to have a deep or sag. Okay, so sag is, so now the conductor is erected like this. Okay, so this is the so see, if this is the lowest point, so this point, this distance is known as the dip or sag. So the difference in label between points of support and the lowest point on the conductor is called sag. So difference in label between point of support, this is the point of support and this is the lowest point of the conductor. Okay, so difference between these two point, okay, is called sag or dip. Okay, or you can this is the conductor, so this is the point of support point, this is the maximum dip, so this to this point, so the distance between these two is called your sag. So see here, showing here what you see, that the conductor suspended between two equilevel support A and B. Okay, here A and B are at equal level, A and B, okay, equilevel supports A and B. Here the conductor is suspended between A and B, and here the conductor is not fully stretched but is allowed to have a dip. Okay, the lowest point O, this is the O, and the difference between this point A and this point O is the sag S, or the difference between this B and this point O, this is also your sag. Okay, so there are some points to be noted, that when the conductor is suspended between two supports at the same level, it takes the shape of catenary. However, if the sag is very small compared with the span, then the sag span curve is like a parabola. Okay, so this is the shape of catenary. Okay, but if the sag is very small as compared to the span, that means if the span means the length. Okay, so if the A and B, in between the distance between A and B, let it be something value, let it be L. Okay, and the sag is the S. So if the sag is very small as compared with span, that means if it is like this, Okay, so this is the one point and this is another point. So here the length is from this to this, and here the sag is, this is the sag, this difference is the sag, and it is very small. So if the sag is very small compared with the span, then the sag span curve is like a parabola. So it is like a shape of catenary or parabola. So the tension at any point on the conductor acts tangentially. Okay, this is the tension showing over here. At midpoint the tension is like this, and at point B the tension is like this. That means at point A also the tension is like towards this direction, and at B it is towards this direction. At O there is a tension in this direction. Okay, this tension is the at any point this tension is tangentially, it is act tangentially to the conductor like this. Understood or not? The tension is tangential to this conductor. So here the tension T0 at the lowest point O acts horizontally. This is the horizontally act at this O point, but except O, all over the length of the conductor the tension act tangentially. So the horizontal component of tension is constant throughout the length of the wire. Okay, and then the tension at supports is approximately equal to the horizontal tension acting at any point on the wire. So this is the horizontal tension and this is the vertical tension. These two are equal. Okay, that means here also this tension and this tension, this is here, this is the horizontal, it is the vertical. So these two tension are approximately equal. So if T is the tension at point or at support B, then T is equal to T0. So here this is the horizontal tension and this is the T at tension at point B. So this T is equal to T0. Okay, so now we will discuss about conductor sag and tension. See, it is very important consideration in the mechanical design of overhead line. The conductor sag should be kept to a minimum in order to reduce the conductor material required and to avoid extra pole height for sufficient clearance above the ground level. It is also desirable that the tension in the conductor should be low to avoid the mechanical failure of the conductor and to permit the use of less strong support. However, lower conductor tension and minimum sag are not possible. It is because low sag means a tight wire and high tension. Okay, low sag means a tight wire and high tension, and a low tension means loose wire and increased sag. Therefore, in actual practice, a compromise is made between these two states. Okay, so so how to choose how to select between the tight wire and high tension, that means how to select between low sag and low tension, that is the challenge over here. Okay, so we might have to take some, we might have to do some compromise in between these two states. Okay, that is the low sag and low tension. So next is the calculation of sag. How to calculate sag? In an overhead line, the sag should be so adjusted that tension in the conductor is within safe limit. Okay, so how to make the tension in the safe limit, that is that we need to study. The tension is governed by the conductor weight. Okay, the tension is governed by conductor weight, effect of wind, ice loading, temperature variation. Okay, so these are all are responsible for the tension: conductor weight, effect of wind, ice loading and temperature variation. So it is a standard practice to keep conductor tension less than 50% of its ultimate tensile strength. Tensile strength means minimum factor of safety in respect of conductor tension. Okay, minimum minimum safety factor in respect of conductor tension should be 2. Okay, so we shall now calculate the sag and tension of a conductor when in two conditions, when supports are at equal level and supports are at unequal level. So first we discuss about when supports are at equal level. What happens when the supports are at equal level? So this is the diagram shown over here. Here A and B are at equal level. This is the conductor. Okay, this is the conductor and this is the lowest point O. This point is the lowest point O, and this is the sag in between this O and B. Okay, so see here, the consider a conductor between two equilevel support A and B with O as the lowest point, and here L is equal to length of span. This is the L. L is distance between this A and B. It is termed as length of span. So if O is the midpoint, then this here in between A and O it is L by 2, span length is L by 2, and in between O and B it is L by 2, and W is equal to weight per unit length of the conductor. T is equal to tension in the conductor. This is the at O point the tension is T. Okay, horizontal, it is horizontal line. Then consider a point P on the conductor. This is the point P considered over here. So consider a point P on the conductor taking the lowest point O as the origin. Okay, if O is origin, then what happens? Let the coordinate of point P is x and y. How it is x and y? See, if O is the origin, this is the x axis, this is the x axis, and this is the y axis. Okay, so from this point, this to this is the y, this distance we consider y. So y coordinate is y, and in x coordinate it is termed as x over here. This is the x. That means we can take that point P as x comma y. Okay, distance from origin in horizontal axis it is x, and distance from origin in vertical axis it is y. So the coordinate of point P be the x and y. Okay, so assuming that the curvature is so small that the curve length is actual, the curve length is equal to its horizontal projection OP, that is equal to x. Okay, so here when we consider this P point, then from O to P, this curvature is very small. We are assuming that this curvature is very small. That's why we are taking that its length is equal to this x. Okay, that means OP is equal to x. Okay, so OP is equal to x. We got that. Then the two force that is acted on the portion OP conductor, on this OP curvature, the two forces acting, those are the weight Wx of the conductor acting at a distance x by 2 from O. Okay, so if this is the small curvature, and in this OP length, its midpoint, let it be this point, and here the distance from O is x by 2. Okay, and here the weight of the conductor is acted, that is W into x. Okay, W into x, weight of the conductor acting at a distance x by 2 from O, and the tension T acting at O. This is the tension T acting at O. Okay, these two forces are acting on the portion O and P. Okay, so now equating the moments of above two forces. Okay, so while when we equate the moments of these two forces about point O, okay, that is the moment of inertia, that is the here T into y, this is the tension into perpendicular distance. Okay, so see, T into y means this is the, see, this is the tension and perpendicular distance, this is the perpendicular distance, and this is represented by what? Y. Similarly for this force W into x, this is acted vertically downward, so its perpendicular distance from O is taken as this distance x by 2. So here one moment is y t into y, force into perpendicular distance y, that is equal to again force wx into perpendicular distance x by 2, that is equating over here. So equating the moments of the two forces, t into y is equal to wx into x by 2. So we got y is equal to wx square by 2t. We got the equation for y. Okay, so y value is wx square by 2t. So the maximum dip is represented by the value of y at either of the supports A and B. So see here y is what? This is at point O. If y is this over here, then wx square by 2t is the value of y. Okay, so the maximum dip is represented by the value of y at the either of the support A and B. So now we represent this y distance at point A and at point B. Okay, so at point A this y can be represented as, with respect to O, it is represented as what? Sag. Okay. Similarly at point B it is with respect to O, it is represented as same sag. So with respect when we compare this y with this sag, then this sag is equivalent with this y. Okay, so now our sag in place of y we can put s, and in place of x we can put L by 2. Why L by 2? See, this point is what? L by 2 distance from O point. This is the O distance. So from O it is L, between A and O the distance is L by 2, and the here the y is represented by x, s, and the x, the c, here y is this one, y is equal to wx square by 2t. Okay, and in place of y we are taking s, and in place of x we take this distance, horizontal distance, that is in between A and O, that is L by 2. So we can write in place of x we can write L by 2, in place of y we can write s. So here s is written in place of y, that is s is equal to, in place of x L by 2 is put over here, so w L by 2 whole square by 2t. So w L square divided by 8t, because 2 square is what? 4 into 2 is 8. So w L square by 8t. So this is the formula for sag. S is equal to w L square by 8t when the supports are at equal level. Then the next part is when the supports are at unequal level. How we define the formula for sag. Okay, so what is the condition when we found the supports are at unequal level? That is the in hilly areas. We generally come across conductors suspended between supports at unequal level in hilly area. Okay, so here figure shows the conductor suspended between two support A and B which are at different level. The lowest point on the conductor is O. So this is the diagram shown over here. See, this is the hilly area. So in hilly area the level is not at equal level, and here one point support is A, support means pole, and another support is B. So in between the A and B this is the lowest point O. Now this O is not in the midpoint because A and B are not at equal level, that's why O is somehow at this point. And this is the sag S1 from this support A, and the sag S2 from support B. Okay, and here the L is the span length shown over here. Span length is the L. Then this is the sag S1, then sag S2. Then distance between A and O is x1, and distance between support at higher level, that is B from O, is x2, and T is the tension in the conductor, and H is the difference in level between two support. So level between two support, this is one level and this is two level, and here this is another, this level is represented here. Okay, So the distance between two label is h, which is written over here. Okay, so let's see how we calculate the sag for this. So if W is the weight per unit length of the conductor, okay, if W is the weight per unit length of the conductor, then to sag S1 is equal to W x1 square by 2t, because x1 is distance between this support A and O. So here S1 is represented here. So S1 is equal to W x1 square by 2t. Similarly, H2 is equal to W x2 square by 2t. X2 is the distance between B and O. Okay. So and x1 plus x2 is equal to L, because your span length is L and distance from this to this point is x, and this point to this point is x2. So x1 plus x2 gives us L. So these are predefined equations. So if I want to solve S2 minus S1, if I want to solve S2 minus S1, so S2 is equal to, so if we solve this equation S2 minus S1, in place of S2 we can put W x2 square by 2t, and in place of S1 W x1 square by 2t. So W by t is taken common, so x2 square minus x1 square. So this is a square minus b square formula, so it is a plus b, a minus b. Okay, and then x1 plus x2 gives us L. Okay, L. So we can put in place of this L. So S2 minus S1 is equal to WL by 2t into x2 minus x1. Okay, so S2 minus S1, we already know that S2 minus S1 is equal to H. How? See, this is the sag from B to this is the S2, and here the sag, this point, this distance is S1. If S2 minus S1 we find out, then we find H as the S2 minus S1. We got S2 minus S1 is equal to H. So we put here H is equal to WL by 2t into x2 minus x1. This is the equation we found. So from this we can find out x2 minus x1, that is equal to 2th by omega, sorry, 2th by WL. W is the weight of the conductor per unit length. So x2 minus x1 you can find out, and x1 plus x2 is equal to L, which is given. So from these two equations, by solving these two equations, we find out x1 value and x2 value, that is L by 2 minus th by WL and L by 2 plus th by WL. These are the value of x1 and x2. So we can find out x1 and x2 by knowing the value of S1 and S2, and by putting the value of L, T, H, W, L. Okay, we can calculate x1 and x2. So these are the equations or formula for the when the conductor are at unequal level. Okay, so then next part is the effect of wind and ice loading. So what is the effect of wind and ice loading on sag? That is now we discussed. Okay. So what is the effect of wind and ice in sag? So in the above part we discussed about the sag. We found out the sag equation when the poles are at equal level and when the poles are at unequal level. But the formula for sag is truly find out when it is in still air and at normal temperature, when the conductor is acted by its own weight only. Okay, that means whatever formula we find out in the above, that is S is equal to W x square by 8t or Y is equal to W x square by 2t. These two formula are only for when the conductor is in still air and in normal temperature and acted by its own weight only. But in actual practice, conductor may have ice coating and simultaneously subjected to wind pressure. Okay, ice coating is there and wind pressure is also there in practical cases. So the weight of ice, so if it is a conductor, the ice coating is like this, okay, over here. Okay, so ice coating is like this over surrounding this conductor. So the weight of ice is acted vertically downward. Okay, and and in the same direction with the weight of the conductor, because weight of the conductor is also vertically downward. But the force due to wind is assumed to act horizontally. See, if this is a conductor, the force due to wind act in this direction or in this direction. Okay, so this is acted horizontally. So if this is a cross section of a conductor, see, in this conductor the weight of the ice and weight of the conductor act downward and weight of the wind act horizontal. This is the force of the wind acted horizontally. Okay, so at right angle to the projected surface of the conductor. Okay, so here see, this is and this is, these two are right angle with each other. So the total force on the conductor is the vector sum of horizontal and vertical force. This is, see, drawn over here, this is the vertical line, this is the summation of weight of the conductor and weight of the ice, and this is the horizontal, which is weight of the wind or force of the wind. So the vector sum, okay, the vector sum is, find out, this is total weight. Okay, so if we do vector sum, so this is the vertical component, this is the horizontal component, so the vector sum gives us Wt, total weight. Okay, so in this case, see, this is the conductor diameter and this is the thickness of the ice, and this is also thickness of the ice. So the total diameter of the conductor with, when there is ice loading, is d plus 2t, total diameter of the conductor. Okay, so the total weight is the Wt is equal to root over of W plus Wi square plus Ww square, where W is equal to weight of conductor per unit length and W is equal to weight of conductor per unit length, that is equal to conductor material density into volume. Okay, volume into density gives us weight. So conductor material density into volume per unit length, this gives weight of the conductor per unit length. Then Wi is the weight of ice per unit length. So what is this weight of ice per unit length? Its formula is again density of ice into volume of ice per unit length. Okay, so density of ice into volume, volume formula is this, pi by 4 whole into d plus 2t whole square minus d square into 1. Okay, this is the formula for volume, pi by 4 into d plus 2t, this is the total diameter. Okay, d plus 2t whole square, my actually volume of ice, we need to find out volume of ice. So see, what is this here, what is the ice diameter? See, this is the diameter of, d is the conductor diameter and t is the thickness of ice coating. So here also there is a t, so total diameter, if we subtract this conductor diameter from the total diameter, then we find out the ice coating width. Okay, so d plus 2t whole square minus d square, d plus 2t whole square minus d square into 1, this gives the volume of ice per unit length, and then density of ice into, if we solve this, this is the pi into t whole into d plus 2t. This is the formula for weight of the ice per unit length. Then Ww, that is the wind force per unit length. Again, wind force per unit length is the wind pressure per unit area into projected area per unit length. So force is what? Pressure per unit area. So this is what? Pressure per unit area, but we haven't unit area, we have a particular projected area for a conductor length. So for a unit length of conductor, that's why unit wind force per unit length is the wind pressure per unit area into projected area per unit length. This is wind pressure into d plus 2t into 1. This is the area. Okay, d plus 2t into 1. D plus 2t is the length. Length is the 1 because it is, here we are taking per unit length. So L is the 1, but the width is the d plus 2t. That is the projected area, because a conductor is look like a rectangle. Here the length, if length is 1 and the width is d plus 2t. So this is the area. Okay, wind pressure into projected area per unit length, d plus 2t into 1. So this is the formula for WW, wind force per unit length. Okay, so when the conductor has wind and ice loading also, then the conductor sets itself in a plane at an angle theta to the vertical. Okay, that is like this. The conductor set itself this with an angle theta with the vertical. This is the angle theta. So the conductor set itself in a plane at an angle theta to the vertical. So here tan theta is what? Tan theta is equal to W. Tan theta is what? P by B. So if theta is set here connected with this line, then P is this line, okay, and B is this line. We can write tan theta is equal to W divided by W plus Wi. That is written over here. W divided by W plus Wi. This is tan theta. And the sag in the conductor is given by S is equal to Wt into L square by 2t. Here Wt is now the resultant weight. Okay, and S represents slant sag. Okay, in the direction making an angle theta to the vertical. And if no specific mention is made in the problem, then slant sag is calculated by using this formula. Okay, slant sag is equal to Wt into L square by 2t, and the vertical sag is equal to S cos theta. That means here this slant sag is made an angle theta with the vertical, and vertical sag is here. Okay, if this is slant sag, then this is the S cos theta is the vertical sag. Okay, clearly understand about the sag. So these are some problems which are mentioned over here. Just follow this video and go and solve these problems. Already I taught you in the online classes, also solved so many problems, so many different types of problems related to sag calculation. Just go through all these type of problems and solve it. Okay, and if you have any doubt, then ask me in the class. This is another problem when the two supports are at unequal level. So go through this problem and see how the problem is solved. Solve this problem, follow this numerical calculations. Okay, everything I mentioned here, every problem I mentioned here already taught in the online class. So just go through this problem section. Okay, so this is all about your sag calculation. Okay, so thank you all.